3 realities of life as an EPIK teacher that you can only fully understand once you're actually here. Number 1, most of us are placed in the countryside. I know many people move to Korea with dreams of living in Seoul. I was one of them. But almost all of us are placed in the other provinces. And even within those provinces, there's no real guarantee as to where you'll be. For example, my friend and I are both placed in Gyeonggi-do, and even though I'm technically closer to Seoul, she's in the downtown of her city, whereas I'm in the outskirts of mine. So you really never know. But the good thing is, Korea is a really small country, which means even if you're deep in the countryside, you're never going to be more than a few hours from Seoul or even the other side of Korea. Also, living rurally shows you a side of Korea that most tourists and even a lot of Koreans never get to experience. It's the quiet morning walks to school through your local town, which is nestled within the mountains. It's really special. Number 2, you're often the only foreigner at your school and sometimes even in your whole neighborhood. Even if you're placed in a city, you will almost always be the only foreigner at your school. This is a big thing that differentiates EPIK from hagwons, where most of the teachers are foreigners and therefore you're surrounded by other native English speakers within your workplace. At EPIK, you're not. Now, this can be challenging and can feel isolating. I've definitely felt that throughout my time here. But being the only foreigner also opens a lot of doors that you wouldn't have experienced back home. For one, you're fully immersed within Korean culture. You get to see how Korean kids grow up, how they learn. You get to see how Koreans interact within the workplace and what that working environment is like. And you're surrounded by the language. And so day to day, even though you're there teaching English, you get to soak in the language that's surrounding you. And you also get to soak it in through interacting with your co-teacher as you figure out how to run lessons together. Another really cool part of this is that sometimes you are the first native English speaker that your students have met. And often you may be the first person from your country that your students have ever met either. I'm from Australia, and I am definitely the first Australian that most of my kids have met. And it's been really special to kind of get to open their eyes to that world. And I feel honored to now be directly associated with Australia. When they think of Australia, they think of me, which is really special. It's an honor. This experience has also given me a lot of respect and empathy for anyone that's ever immigrated to another country, especially one where they don't speak their language. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and you learn a lot about yourself. Number 3, your school might be tiny, and if so, you may have more than one. Many EPIK teachers work at very small schools, especially in rural placements, and if that's the case, a lot of them have what we call travel schools. I teach grades 3 to 6 at 2 different schools, and each school has only 1 class per grade, and each class sometimes as few as 2 to 4 students. Now, small schools obviously can come with a lot of challenges, but they have a lot of charms as well. The biggest charm for me is that I get to know all of my students' names, and I even get to know their personalities, and I get to watch them grow as humans and as English students. And that's something that teachers in bigger schools just don't have the opportunity to do because of the sheer number of students that they teach. So if you're someone that wants meaningful connections with your students, a tiny school is honestly a gift. EPIK placements all look so different. No matter what your preference is, no matter the province you're finally placed in or the school you end up at, whether it's a big city or whether it's a small village with cows and tractors dotting your walk to school, your experience here will shape you in ways that you'll only understand once you arrive, or perhaps even once you leave. If you're open to new experiences, if you're adaptable, and if you're curious about what life beyond the cities in Korea look like, then an EPIK countryside placement can be incredibly rewarding. It sure has been for me.